Man, my first time talking to a camera in like 3 weeks. Man, this is weird. I'm back. I say I'm back as if I'm like David Dobrik and everyone's been wondering where I'm at, but that's just not the case. I just, yeah, I've got like one comment saying, why haven't you posted a video? So I guess there's not that much hype where I can say, I'm back. But I am back on the filming grind. I've had like the craziest couple of weeks trying to wrap up the year. A lot going on with work and my house and things like that. So I just took a couple weeks off because, you know, I'm not a full-time YouTuber. I got other priorities, so when I get super busy, this kind of has to go to the wayside. But going forward, I ain't gonna let that happen. At least once a week. At least once a week. Once a week. I can do that. Because, you know, I need to make it more of a priority. I feel like for the first 50 weeks of 2020, I did really good, and then just December hit, or the end of November with Thanksgiving, and then quarantine, and then Kylie's birthday, and then now the holidays coming up. Just the end of the year, it's busy. Crazy times, but we're getting back into it. Starting now. I saw one of Graham Stephan's videos, the 5 investment mistakes you make in your 20s. So I thought, you know what? I'm in my 20s. I like to invest, so let's check it out. I'm gonna watch it and see if I'm making these mistakes. Hopefully not. I feel like I'm gonna be pretty solid on this front, but I think there's probably at least 1 or 2 that I'm probably making. I don't know, or at least I have made them in past years, I guess. Anyways, alright, so without further ado, let's go ahead and hit that like button and let's get into it.
What's up, you guys? It's Graham here. So chances are, if you've clicked on this video, you've clicked on it to make sure you're not making any of these investing mistakes, which unfortunately, I have some bad news for you. Like, no, for real,
I thought there was an ad literally 10 seconds into the video. Turns out, I think my computer just glitched. Wasn't an ad. I was about to be shocked. I know that you make money from ads, but 10 seconds in, that'd be a little extreme. All right, let's get into it.
These are the 5 most common investing mistakes that people make in their 20s and exactly how to avoid them. Now, the first and biggest investing mistake that people make in their 20s is by simply not investing at all. And it's very simple to see why this is such a common mistake. It's very easy for people to say,
you know what? I'm young. I'm gonna live a long time. I may as well just invest in the future.
Yeah, I think that is by far, if I could name any mistake, it's just not even paying attention to investing, not thinking it's important, and just thinking, I'll do it later. I remember back my senior year of high school was when I first kind of discovered it and got into it and started talking to friends about it, and most people just kind of brushed it off. They didn't care, they didn't think it was cool, they didn't think it was fun. And the biggest thing was just, oh, you could lose money though, and just making excuses because they don't want to lose any money. And I think that is just the worst mindset you can have. Because if you actually do a little research and you start learning about it, your mindset doesn't go, oh, I could lose money. It goes from, I'm losing money if I'm not investing. If you learn about compound interest and you figure out really how powerful it is, you realize that you're losing money by not investing.
Do not miss the opportunity of investing in your 20s, because that could set you back tens of thousands or even sometimes hundreds of thousands of dollars in the future.
Oh, dude, oh my.
Just consider this. One of the biggest advantages of investing in your 20s is the power of compound interest. This is basically the principle that says your money is going to be making you more money, and that more money is going to be making you more money, and that more money is going to be making you even more money.
Yep. See, once you learn about compound interest, it becomes impossible not to want to invest. And the more I think about compound interest, the more I just think, oh, what was I doing? Back in the day, a few years ago, I invested in Bitcoin and some other coins that were digital currencies, and I turned $10,000 into like over $35,000 in like 3 or 4 days, and it was, oh my gosh, I never thought it would go down, and as you guys know, it did. I ended up losing like all that money, and now I think about it, I'm like, dude, if I just would have put that $35,000 into a low-cost index fund, and I just let that ride out for the next 40 years, oh my gosh, compound interest would be incredible. Like, look at this. $35,000, you do that over 30 years, 12 times 30, what is that, 360. Let's say you get an 8% return on investment, $382,000 that could have been. Like, that's just insane that I lost it all. Oh my gosh, I just done that. almost 400 grand extra that I could have at retirement if I would have put it in an S&P 500 index fund, let it ride, and just let compound interest do its thing. That's how crazy compound interest is. Just 8% a year compounded over 30 years would turn 35,000 into 386,000. That's why I need to start investing early. Okay, my stupid camera died. Got it charged up. Let's get back into it. Where were we?
What you do in your 20s can set you up for your entire life if you just listen. So don't neglect this. If you're in your 20s right now, start investing as soon as you can. And as Shia LaBeouf loves to say, just do it! The second most common investing mistake that I have seen that we're probably all guilty of at some point or another in our lives is by copying someone else's investment strategy without fully understanding the
Yes, oh my gosh. Oh, this is just stupid. But I'm not surprised I did this. Yeah, I'm guilty. I definitely have failed on this front. Back when I was a freshman in college, second semester, I didn't have any classes until 4 or 5 p.m. every single day. So from 8 a.m. to like 3:30, I just had all the time in the world. So I thought, you know what? Let's try day trading. So I do a little Googling, figuring out how to day trade. Google like how to day trade, best day trading, blah blah blah. And of course gurus come up, I'll teach you how to day trade, blah blah blah. And this was back before like gurus were kind of exposed and you really learned that there was a lot of scammers out there. So I just trusted everything on the internet. You know, young, naive, 18 years old. And I paid a guy for stock tips. I joined his little group and I bought what he said. Made a little money sometimes and most of the time did not. But one funny thing came from it. Be right back. This right here. This is a lawsuit that I was involved in. I invested in this company, only held on to it for like a day or two maybe. Didn't know anything about it, like literally nothing. Just invested in it because I was told to do it. Didn't think much of it. Years go by, had never even thought about the company again. And then I get this in the mail and it's a thing, proof of claim, blah, 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 blah. Essentially, the company's getting sued, they're doing some sketchy things, and since I had shares in the time frame that they did their sketchy things, they're like, hey, fill out this form, get it back to us. And it's a big form. There's like 15 pages of things, and it like says, if you own this amount, you get this, if you own this, this, and this. So I calculated it out. It probably would have been like a couple $1,000s if I would have sent this in, but as you can see, I have it right here, so I filled it out and then just never sent it in. So, probably missed out on a little bit of money. I don't know exactly how these things work. I've never been a part of this, but pretty funny to be a part of it, I guess, even though I wasn't really a part of it because I never sent it in, but that's what happens when you take advice from random people. You invest in a company you know nothing about, turns out they're doing sketchy things, and then you end up getting a chance to sue them.
Now, the third investing mistake that I see so many people make, and this is probably the most common out of all of them, is timing the market.
Back to day trading. I thought I could time the market. I thought I was smarter than I was, and most of the time it didn't work. It was just a waste of time, and anytime I did make any money, it was so little, and it was short-term capital gain, so I paid more in taxes, and it turned out to be a big waste of time. Now looking back, it was fun. I feel like I did learn a thing or two, but I mean, honestly, not really, because it's like, I'm not going to take the day trading knowledge and then go become a professional day trader. I don't know, it was just, timing the market is just a waste of time. It takes too much energy. You could be putting that energy towards making more money and then just investing long-term, dollar cost averaging. And studies show, long run, if you dollar cost average, it is the way to go. Trying to time the market is just, it's just not super realistic to try and buy at the perfect time, sell at the perfect time. But I will say there is one time that you can time the market, and it's basically just, you're really not even timing the market. It takes no skill at all. You just dollar cost average every week, every paycheck, every month, whatever it may be, just continually invest. But at the same time, be putting some money aside in kind of a rainy day fund, so that way when the market does crash, you can continue doing your dollar cost averaging, but then you can dump more money in. So you are kind of timing it in the sense that you're doubling down on your investments when the market's bad and you're kind of buying at a discount, but you're not timing it in the sense that you're trying to buy low, sell high, buy low, sell high, and you're buying and selling every single day. You're just putting it in, buying and holding long term, and over the course of 30, 40 years, it's going to pay off. You just buy and hold. It's been proven. There's been so many studies over it. You read the book Money Master the Game, that goes in depth a ton about it. But moral of the story, buy and hold long term, you're going to be alright.
The one that I see happening all the time is that they see the market drops in price, so they decide it's a good time to get in and they buy in. But all of a sudden they buy in and the market drops even more. So what do? They panic, they cut their losses, they sell, and then they think they're going to buy back in when the market continues to drop even further. But then what ends up happening is that they sell off when they see it dropping even further, and then as soon as they sell, the market goes back up, and all of a sudden they missed out on all the profit they could have made.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. As long as you have the right mindset and it drops and you say, okay, I'm going to buy in. But if it drops more, that's fine. I'm just going to buy in more. You're not going to panic. You're not going to sell. So, for example, Facebook was trading at like $220 a while back, and then it dropped to $160. I was like, wow, that seems like a really good opportunity to buy. So I bought in, and then like a day later, it drops to $120. So Graham's example, you panic and sell, you lock in that loss from when you bought at $160 and sell at $120. Or you don't panic, you stay calm, and you just say, okay, another opportunity to buy some more. So you buy some more at $120. And then fast forward a year and a half, and now it's almost $300. So there is benefits to timing the market and buying at these dips, but you just can't panic and sell off when it dips. You just have to flip your mindset and look and see it as, okay, market drop, everything's on discount, it's a good time to buy.
And the lesson that I have learned is that the best strategy you can take when it comes to investing in the stock market is simply to buy and hold. That's it. And when it comes to doing this, these are the cold, hard facts behind it. Over a 20-year time span, if you miss just the 5 best trading days in terms of gains, remember, over 20 years, if you just miss those 5 days, your overall return drops by 45%.
Yeah, this is pretty crazy. So, this study was in Money Master the Game, the book by Tony Robbins. And this is the best book ever. If you haven't read it, you need to read it. And it basically talks about what Graham is saying. So right here, it basically shows S&P 500, the average over 20 years, 7.2% return. If you miss the 5 best trading days over 20 years, over the 20 years, just 5 days, your return drops from 7.2 to 5.02% each year. So a 45% decrease. And then he goes on to say, if you miss the 20 best days, so just 1 day a year over 20 years, it goes from 7.2% to 1.15% a year. So a 91% drop. So that just shows you, if you're trying to time the market and you're in and out of these stocks, and you're not just holding long term, the odds of you being invested in that 1 day of the year, out of all 365 days of the year, the odds of you happening to hit it on that 1 day, pretty slim. So that's going to take your return on average, if you miss that day, from 7.2% to 1.15% a year.
Probably 99.99999% of people will never be able to consistently and accurately predict what the market is going to be doing. What is more likely to end up happening is that you end up sitting out of the market goes up higher, and then eventually you get impatient and you figure, well, okay, now I'm going to invest, but you end up buying higher than if you just invested from the very start.
That is exactly how I feel with Tesla. I never bought in, and it keeps going up, and I'm like, oh, I should have bought in, and then it keeps going up and up and up, and I'm like, at a certain point, I feel like I need to buy in, but the longer I wait, the later it gets, and I'm just like, I'm gonna end up doing what he says, where you just buy in where it's too late, and it's just, I don't know, but I feel like there's still so much upward potential, and I feel like I'm buying so high if I buy now.
Okay, so now the 4th biggest investment mistake that people make in their 20s, and again, this is something we're all guilty of, is just getting too emotional or too attached.
Yep, I definitely am guilty of that. Not necessarily with the stock market, but with my house, oh my gosh. Every time we go, we're picking out new floors, new granite, backsplash. I'm living in the house, my friends are living in it, so it's so easy to just get emotional with it and be like, you know what, I want this to be the best of the best. I'm going to spend a little more money, even though it's a rental property, and I kind of start to justify it to myself. And I need to remind myself, hey, dude, it's a rental property, don't over-improve, don't go crazy just because you're living here. And it's hard because obviously I'm living here, I want it to be nice for me and my roommates, but at the same time it's an investment property, so I'm definitely guilty of getting emotional and kind of overspending sometimes when it comes to my real estate investment.
And finally, we have number 5, and if you're not doing this, you need to take advantage of this as soon as this video is over. Start doing this. And that is taking advantage of tax advantage accounts. The first example of this is investing in a Roth IRA. If you're not doing this, there's no reason not to invest up to $6,000 per year in one of these Roth IRA accounts.
Now it's actually, I think, 6,600. When I first started investing, it was 6,000. And it seems like every few years they keep upping it, but they do limit it because when you take the money out, it's completely tax-free. So with the Roth IRA, you're paying taxes up front, you get your salary, you pay tax on it like normal, and then you invest the money in any of the gains you have. So when you take it out when you're 60 years old and you have $1 million worth of profits, it's 100% tax-free. So that's why there's the limit of it of 6,000, and now it's up to 6,600, and I'm sure down the road it'll just keep going up and up. So those are Graham's 5 mistakes that 20-year-olds are making. What are they? They were getting emotional, not using the employer match. Was it? How am I forgetting now? What was it? First one was not starting investing. Second was following someone's advice blindly. Oh, third one was trying to time the market. Fourth one was getting emotional, and then fifth was not taking advantage of tax advantage accounts. Why did I say that so weird? Not taking advantage of tax advantaged accounts. That's tough to say. So those are Graham's 5 mistakes that he sees 20-year-olds making. Now let's see mine. I had a list that where's my phone? I don't know why, but I was randomly thinking of this a while back, and I was thinking of mistakes I'm seeing people making. Not getting started right away, not focusing on building your credit. So get a credit card. You can do this at no fees, small limits, and just pay it off every single month. Start building your credit. Another mistake I see people making, they get a job, they instantly go buy a new car. And then the last one is people just turn a blind eye to their finances. They don't track their budgeting, they don't track their net worth. And that's one thing that, going back to the Tony Robbins book, I swear I feel like I mentioned this in every single video, but I just love the book so much. I think it's like literally the best book ever. But he talks about tracking your net worth. So once I read that, I started doing that. And it basically just shows you kind of keep inventory on your finances and how things are going. Each month you track at the beginning or the end of each month, and it kind of just shows you, okay, this month was good, my investments did this, this, and this, my cash was this, this, and this, I spent too much, I didn't spend, I saved well, blah, blah, blah. Basically just gives you an overview of your finances, how they've been, how they were this past month. So tracking your net worth and budgeting are definitely something that I see most people aren't doing, and something you should try. So if you made it this far and you're not investing yet, get it going. If you're not tracking net worth, let me know and I have a template that I can share with you. If you're not budgeting, I kind of have a template, don't really like it, just kind of use Excel. But there's tons of budgeting apps out there, so there's no excuse not to do it. But that's it for this video. Thank you guys for watching. Like and subscribe, and we'll see y'all next time.